Hello people, and welcome back to part 18 of the Cities Skylines build guide. And we had a couple more time lapses before the beginning of this video, and I hope you are enjoying them. I'm trying to do a little bit more editing with this series as it ages and develops into what it is becoming, and I am enjoying it, so hopefully you guys are as well. We have redeveloped the forest roundabout. This thing was getting a little bit clogged up with traffic. So what we've done is, you would have seen it in the time lapse, we've just created a bypass straight over the middle with a couple of slip lanes onto the roundabout. It just gives traffic more routes to move in and around this area. And we've also moved these two junctions further down this road as well, because everyone converging on this one point it was proving a little too much. This road was getting pretty hammered. We've also added in the forestry maintenance building. Let's have a little look at this. So maintenance buildings take care of industrial buildings, increasing their utilisation rate and reducing wastage. Each maintenance building increases the storage capacity of industrial buildings by 5%, and auxiliary buildings must be placed within an industry area. As you know, you can kind of see the theme developing now. If you are placing a building that corresponds to an area, then it must be in the area. That should hopefully be pretty clear right now. Oh, and wonderful, we have hit Capital City, unlocking the new zone. We now have ships, university campus area, universal education, which is a nice policy we can apply to our universities. A couple of new paths that go with the university, and the harbour, cargo hub, and American football stadium. Very good indeed. Cargo hubs will be perfect for sitting on this side of the river. I feel like it's been pretty soon since we worked on some industry. Okay, we've gone to another level. We'll leave it a couple of episodes yet before we start working on the cargo area here. This is going to be a real dense one-way system of kind of trucks and everyone flowing in and out of this area. That's going to be really cool. But we'll leave that for right now. Yeah, so this area is looking pretty sweet. Really happy with the way this turned out. It looks a lot neater. You can just see the traffic now is pretty much non-existent in an area that was becoming a little bit of a problem. And then again over here in our new nightlife town, we've done a little bit of decorating with the trams. We've got these nice little kind of small hedges along the side now, and there's another path here. Lots kind of overgrowth, and there's another park here as well. So this is a really nice way just to tie in areas. So obviously when you build a new area, there's kind of this very obvious empty green space between the old area and the new one. So we just kind of decorated the tram roundabout here, drew a path around the edge of it, and then put in this park as well and expanded it with the same trees. It just helps kind of link the areas nicely together from the bird's eye view. And I'm really happy with the way that this tram roundabout turned out. There's lots of different people coming and going now on this park. Let's have a little look at the line, make sure we're okay for trams. Yeah, there's 58 at one stop over here. But there is still plenty of room on the trams, so I don't think there's a need to add more into that line just yet. There's no real point in that. In terms of the downtown area, I think I'm leaning toward the coast down here. We didn't get any responses last episode, so just let me know. Thinking here and along here, or maybe up here as well. I think if we do unlock this tower here, we don't give ourselves much more room to build out. And in terms of the terrain, as we head this way, it is fairly uneven, so I imagine building a downtown on a big hill like that is going to be a little bit of a nightmare. So probably not going to go with that. We'll probably take this one first, I think, and then this one, and this one. Moving a bit of an L shape, and we'll see how that turns out. But today's episode is going to kind of be a sub-episode of the last one. So as I was kind of analysing what this area looks like, I was like, this area here, I'm really happy with this side. We've got the lake, and it's really nicely detailed, different assets and logs and everything. Really happy with that, and you guys seem to enjoy this as well. Thanks for all the comments, and you are right, the geese will enjoy landing here. That's a very good point. But this side here is a little bit kind of bland, so today is kind of in line with what the Cities Skylines build guide is to kind of give you guys a little bit of inspiration as to how you can kind of make these areas here just that little bit more interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and draw in a park right here, just to kind of fill in the majority of this space. Probably up to about here. There we go, that should do again. So we've got Maple City Park. Again, get your suggestions down in the comments for any particular names you would like in these parks. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the City Park stuff, and I'm just going to put in the small park main gate. I'm just going to kind of delete this path infrastructure that we've got in here at the moment for right now. And then we're going to come up to, we say there. And then let's go ahead and add in our side gates. Should do nicely. So just kind of putting a park within the middle of your kind of empty build zones. Because obviously, you know, if the roads aren't back to back to each other, then you're going to have a lot of empty space in between them. Let's get a little bit of an angle on here. Let's have a look at what we can place in. So I think definitely a park plaza would be a good shout in here. Probably a park cafe as well. Let's get that one there. See if we can just squeeze this restroom in. Yes, we can. An info booth. Now, I'm not really bothered about an info booth being in this park because it isn't a park that really needs info, if that makes sense. But I think it'd be nice just to have it as a building. I think we're going to move this just over there right now until we figure out what it is we want to put in here. Let's go ahead and pop in the chessboard. And then I think that's probably it in terms of attractions. Okay. So let's delete this path right here. And then we'll go ahead and fence up this new park. Let's bring him up to there, and everyone else is pretty safe, I think. Let's bring this guy up to the edge of this building. And this one over here as well. And that guy's okay. Can we get one in here? Just about. So that guy's going to fit in nicely. So right now we're kind of developing like an alleyway here. I think that's pretty cool. But there's something else that I want to go ahead and detail as well. So obviously, you know, you are still going to have spaces like this, and you know that's if you're happy with that, it's a little open green field. You know, then by all means just leave it that way. But I wanted to kind of continue developing this alleyway feel here. So let's go ahead and grab. I think this road here is just going to be the regular one without trees. Let's go off our demolish tool. There we go. So right now, this green field backs onto two buildings, or three if you count, and then they kind of look like the same one. So what I want to do is do a touch of kind of micro detail in here. So obviously this, if you're going to do this across your entire industry, across your entire park, this will take you a long time to do. But if you are a fan of detailing, this can be a nice way of just fleshing out those areas. So I'm grabbing the industrial oil fence right now, so you can see this thing's pretty big looking. It's got kind of tall spiked fences on the top. We'll leave that side open, I think, for right now. Let's bring this guy in, just like that. So maybe we can have this come up along the back. See, there is just a little sweet spot there. There we go. That's where we can get it in. Let's go ahead and unzone these two here that aren't being used. Okay. Let's actually grab some more fencing. Doesn't look like I've gone all the way up to the edge there. Oh no, I had just demolished it. I am an idiot, ignore that. Let's let that building regrow. Okay. Anyway, you get the point. You can kind of just judge where your building's doing, don't you? And I think we'll leave that one open. Now, when you're playing with the More Beautification mod, you can use this with regular props, but you know it won't look as detailed. But when you download the More Beautification mod, you get all this stuff here to play with. So there's just so much kind of different props and items that you can use. So let's have a little scroll through and see which ones we can find. So we've got a few categories here. We've got some billboards, some industrial. So I think maybe a little bit of industrial might be good. Let's go ahead and kind of place some little like pallets in along here. You know, so these buildings, they're all going to need supplies. A couple of boxes as well, maybe. Around each side. And then a couple over here. So you can just kind of see, as you begin to place different things, you'll get, you know, a lot of different kind of feels. Have a look at some of these stuff over here. Got a tall booth here, but it kind of looks industrial. Let's have a couple of those in. Maybe have like a little tall barrier up along the side. One over there. So it's kind of like a little security fence. So what else we have? Maybe a couple spools of wire over here. Let's have a look at some of the park decorations. So you can just kind of make different little repeating patterns with them. Some nice benches here as well. Maybe we can have this side can almost be like a food court. So with the city's expansion, the park life one, you do get a couple of different kind of food vendor stuff, which looks pretty cool. Let's go ahead and pop in a little bit of a hedge along here. That's just going to flesh out that area a little bit. We do have some ground tiles as well. Maybe let's have a look at some of these. So these things are pretty cool as well. So I think of this area, we'll have some of these yard tiles, and that's just going to hide that greenness. And then when you're looking at it from, you know, a bird's eye view, or if you're just kind of touring your city, seeing what you've been up to, you'll just start to notice that this area is just that little bit different. And it'll just make it stand out a lot better. Now obviously you can imagine if you're doing this for your entire map, you are going to be here for a long time. But often, you know, if you find you're bored of building a new area, coming back to an old one to kind of expand on what you've already done, it can be a really good idea. Let's have a look what else we have in here. So we also have this really cool looking statue, which I think would be cool to have right on the corner here as people come in. There's also a couple of bicycle stands here as well. Let's try and pop some of these. Obviously these things are pretty microscopic, but you can make something out of them. Now with this area here we do have a bit of space to work with, so let's come. I think we'll go for a gazebo. So it's going to have this about as in the middle as we can get it. And then we'll grab a dirt path with a freeform tool, and all our snapping is off. There we go. So those paths won't link, but you know, it doesn't really matter. And then let's go ahead and make a little bit of a recurring tree pattern through here. So you leave those bicycle stands free that we just put in. Let's make a bit of a point of putting the bushes around them. Okay. We'll just have a super thick bush line that borders all these little assets that are hanging around on this side. Just like that. Okay, let's grab some more trees. Let's have some of these. I really like these trees. I've been using them a lot recently. Now, we had a comment from a guy called Henry, who liked the tram interchange idea over here. He said he's going to try it out. I asked him to tweet me a picture when he does eventually use it. I haven't checked my Twitter. He might have already sent it, but no, look, it's nice to see that people get inspiration from this. And you know, you guys might want to. There's the tram interchange. I mentioned that there's a tram tutorial on the channel. That's a little more complicated than this one. That's using kind of one-way tracks and roundabouts to make trams come and go throughout your city. But you know, that one will work just as well. I think the other one looks a little bit better. Let's kind of have a little pop of colour. As we come around here. Let's maybe have some bushes kind of around this statue to deter people from climbing on it. And then maybe let's have a little mooch again through. Okay, so we have some little dumpsters here. I think these would be perfect for what we need to do. Let's delete that one by accident. So let's go ahead and grab some of those dumpsters. You can imagine when the nightlife buildings close and their bins are full of beer bottles, they're going to need to come out here and get rid of all their crap. This is where they could do it. Maybe have just a little bit of a kind of trash build up along here. And this might be pretty cool as well. It's like a little ventilation unit. Maybe like a little power substation for them maybe. We do have a shopping cart shelter here as well. And if we can put this in somewhere. I'm not really sure where that would go. There's a little kiosk newsstand here. So unfortunately with these props, the Sims won't really interact with them, which can be a little disappointing considering how much effort you can actually go to in this game to detail different props, but it's understandable why that wouldn't happen. Okay, so we've got some more back fronts here as well. Let's have a little look at these. Again, just kind of continuing the theme of that alleyway idea that we've been working on. Let's grab another fence in here as well. We'll bring this guy up to here. So again, this is a little bit of a smaller one. So let's go ahead and grab. Is there a different ground tile we can use? Okay, let's have some of this like kind of gravel looking stuff. That's just going to help change up the way I really actually should be using some of this in the industrial area. That would look really sweet. Now, this is obviously the back of the building. Let's go ahead again and add some of those little props in that we found. There's also a solar panel here as well. Maybe add a couple of these onto our building. Again, like you won't really notice these as you play, but it just helps make everything look that much more realistic. Let's go ahead and have some of these big boy recycling units down here again. into there. And then over there. And there. Okay. And sure, let's have a satellite dish for good measure. Maybe that can be a sports bar. Okay, so for right here with the side of the building, I think I'm just going to kind of make this a little bit overgrown rather than doing anything too specific with it. Let's go ahead and grab some of the large bushes and maybe a couple of rocks in here as well. Maybe some of these little pillar rocks might be quite cool alongside some smaller ones. And then again, so you guys know, if you follow the official Cities Skylines channel, which you really should, because those guys collaborate with YouTubers and post some really cool content on there, in terms of like how you can kind of use different mods and stuff to detail your areas. And if you are using full mods like Move It and a lot of the other kind of detailed landscaping mods, the stuff you can make in this game is like really, really crazy. Let's kind of find any other, some ice decal here. I think we'll go for the old tiles again. Yeah, so go ahead and check out the City Skylines channel, and they did a video probably a couple of weeks ago now, where they shared how to detail backyards with houses. There is something cool you can do with houses if you're not playing with mods, or even just a few mods like we are. You can still achieve that level of detail. So we'll kind of show you how you can do that when we've finished up here. So I think again, just a similar idea. Let's go ahead and have a look at some of the other props, try and change it up a little bit. See what we've got. So we do also have a randomizer, which I think is pretty cool. So you're going to get a couple of different units here. You can place these on top of the buildings as well. We do a prop anarchy on, you can obviously move them around on top of buildings and whatnot. Let's have a look at some industrial stuff. Even get some barrels in here as well. And maybe a bit of a shipping container. These guys have had big deliveries come in or whatnot, and I'm not saying that pubs get deliveries via shipping containers. That would be a little bit unrealistic. I don't know, maybe in the world somewhere they do, but absolutely not where I live. And then maybe we can have a couple of signs in here as well. Maybe, you know, signage that has been used in the past and now they just need to store it somewhere, so they've just chucked it in the back garden. You can rotate this in any direction you want. Maybe you can have a couple of gas cylinders here. For example, I know a couple of pubs near me that have these big kind of gas tanks in the back because they have like heated lamps in their outside sitting area. So just like that. So already you guys can see just how much of a difference this makes compared to just leaving those empty green spaces behind your buildings. As I said, this takes a long time to do, so if you have the patience for it, you can make some pretty crazy stuff. But it just really helps bring the area to life and makes it that much more realistic. You know, there's different little bits of props in there. It looks like the buildings you actually live in and are supplied, and people have to do different jobs around there. You can see a few different styles with the decals and stuff. Again, this is all from the More Beautification mod, but you can use kind of the Park Life tiles if you are playing without mods or on the console versions. Then you can still make some pretty interesting stuff like this, alongside the rest of the park assets that are in here as well. It just helps bring more people to this area and just makes it look, you know, more alive, more lived in, I suppose, is the effect that we're going for. And this area is looking so pretty. I'm really happy with this. Yeah, there's a little bit of graphical glitch in there, but I hope you guys like this. We'll We'll have a look at how you can kind of apply the similar theory with some residential stuff in a moment. But let's enjoy this nice little pan. I'm obsessed with bush lines at the moment as well, if you haven't realised. I am using them everywhere. But yeah, how much better does that look now than just leaving it as empty green space? There's just so much more going on. It's looking really sweet. Lots of people milling around this area as well. So very happy with it. Very happy indeed. Okay, so as I promised, let's have a look at how we can do something similar with housing. So right here, let's just kind of double check our noise pollution radius. See how we're doing. Okay, maybe there isn't the best idea. Let's have a little look around the city as to where we can maybe get some stuff in. I think probably here will be okay actually. Let's do a little example here. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a dirt path. And draw this right through the middle. Straight to the bottom, and then that's going to obviously break 2 tiles, which means that we can't zone in them anymore, which is what we want. You can do it with just the 1 tile, so straight through a tile like that, so you just lose the 1. But it's easier if you do it down the middle, like this. Then you break the 2 tiles either side of it. Especially for what we're going to be doing right here, right now. So let's go ahead and add in some residential. I think we're going to have a bit of a mix in here as well. It's not all going to be low density. We'll have a low density here and there. So right now, this is just a path heading through some houses, which is fine. But if we come into our forest industry, the forest fence is actually really quite nice. This kind of wooden feel. That's the farm one, but let me go ahead and grab the other one. So this is the forest industry fence, and this pretty much looks like a back garden fence. You know, there's it's kind of like a wood panelling. So I'm just going to follow this path up again. Let's actually build that one a little bit closer to the tiles, and just get a feel for it. Of where you want it to lie. I think I'll probably bring this one all the way down to here, and this one here. So this, what would be considered, in England we call these back alleys. Again, it might be different elsewhere in the world. Let me know what you guys call these things. Let's have a look here now. Okay, so we've got some nice little houses developing. And, oh, missed a bit of fence off there. Let's go ahead and drop it in right there. We'll actually delete that little bit of zoning right there. We can do something else with that. So we have, right now, just these little kind of back garden fences that are milling around. So can I get this in? No, it's just too tight. So again, let's have a look at our props. I'm going to go to unsorted. So within these props that we have in the back alleys in England, there is where people would put their wheelie bins. So I think behind each house I'm going to put a trash can or a dumpster. Obviously, you know, it would kind of be an individual bin rather than an entire dumpster for one house, but you know, we have to make do with what is in the mod. So kind of one for each like that, I think would be okay. And then maybe, let's have a look what else we've got going on. Maybe scrolling through some of the park life stuff, some of the residential. I can maybe have a bit of fence between each one. There's some nice prison fences here as well. I actually suppose you could do some stuff like that with some of the inner city stuff. That would be quite cool. Let's go ahead and drop off a little bit of a post box here. A little mailbox maybe. You've got a lot of kind of back garden stuff you can put in here as well. Let's kind of pop in a few of these assets. Maybe these can be like, obviously there's that little kind of rooftop accesses, but you can just kind of pretend them whatever you want them to be. Okay, maybe a couple of these little air conditioning units that are keeping people cool. It's kind of just, it's all really about just looking at what props are available. Obviously you have these billboards here, but yeah, I'm not really using the billboards right now. There's all different kind of signs and stuff you can put in here. So one of these actually might be nice. The park entrance. Let's pop that in there. There's a little octopus here as well. Let's have him in there. That's pretty cool. There's a squirrel on a donut. There's a lot of different things you can kind of put together here. It's like a little electric billboard maybe. Have one in there. This could actually be used quite nicely outside the baseball park. Almost as like, you know, the next game is, etc. Having the next fixture on there. I like how the billboard says just give up. That's quite funny. Okay, so let's go ahead now and just kind of finish off this area. Obviously we left a bit of an area here. This can just be a bunch of bushes. Again, I think I'll just round off the corners of the pathway with a little bit of bushes. All the way down here. And then we can just go ahead and delete the ones that have dumpsters behind them. And then we'll have this all the way down to the tram line. Okay guys, that is going to do it for today. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, a like is very much appreciated. Equally as much if you didn't like the video, please feel free to leave a dislike as well. Hopefully you found this kind of episode where we've really focused on detailing and just how different you can make your residential areas look with just a few props and a bit of extra time rather than just having constant back-to-back housing and zoning. You can make these things look pretty special in the end, and hopefully you guys can kind of see how this idea comes together to just bring that bit more life into your city. Enjoy the outro, Taj. Thanks for watching, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day.